Hello, I'm Allyson Brooks, President of the Thurston County League of Women Voters. Welcome today to our Superior Court Judge Position 2 Forum. And we have with us today Jim Johnson and Christine Schaller. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization dedicated to voter registration and voter education. We look forward to having everyone be informed voters, and of course, we want everybody to vote. We also welcome men and women in our organization and would love to have you join us. And with that, I would like to welcome our two candidates today, Jim Johnson and Christine Schaller. And we have 2 minutes for opening remarks. So, Jim, would you like to start with 2-minute opening?
Thank you. My name is Jim Johnson, and I am running for Thurston County Superior Court Judge Position 2. I got into this race because I wanted to be of service. For the past 21 years, I've been an attorney, and for the last 18, I have been working in the Attorney General's office for you, representing the Department of Labor and Industries. I've been living in Thurston County, and I saw this as an opportunity to be of further service to you. I got into this race because I think the idea of self-government is essential and important. We choose our leaders from amongst ourselves. We elect our mayors from the people who live in the towns and cities. We elect our county commissioners from within the county. Those same laws apply to our judges as well. Every elected official in the state of Washington needs to live in the community that votes for them. For the past 18 years, I have lived here, and I hope to serve you as your next judge.
Thank you. Christine, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Christine Schaller, and I'm seeking election to Thurston County Superior Court Position 2. There are 3 main reasons I believe that I'm the most qualified candidate for the position. One is my diversity of experience. I was an attorney in private practice for 8.5 years here in Thurston County with the law firm of Foster and Schaller. I had a busy trial practice in the areas of family and juvenile law, criminal law, estate planning, wills and probate, personal injury, and administrative law. These areas together make up over 85% of the total work that is done by our Superior Court, which roughly breaks out to 40% family and juvenile law, 40% adult criminal, and 20% civil. Second is my judicial experience. In 2005, I was chosen by our Thurston County Superior Court judges to be one of your court commissioners. For 7.5 years, I have been making Superior Court decisions on a daily basis in the areas of family and juvenile law. I've been honored to be among the highest rated judicial officers here in Thurston County Superior Court by the biannual survey of the local bar association. In 2009, I was named Jurist of the Year by the Washington State Bar Association Family Law Section. I have a proven track record as a judicial officer in Thurston County Superior Court. Third is my experience with our community. I was born and raised here, educated from preschool until I graduated from St. Martin's College. I have worked here essentially my entire life, starting when I was 16 at Tumwater Safeway and including my entire judicial and legal career. This is the community that I know and love and the community that I have always served. And I hope to serve the Thurston County citizens this time as a Superior Court judge. Thurston County deserves a judge who is hardworking, experienced, and acts with common sense. And I believe that person is me, Christine Schaller. Thank you.
And thank you both. Jim, I'm going to give you the first question. And I will be happy to reread the question if you want me to. Maintaining a fair and impartial judiciary is a keystone in a democracy. Do you think maintaining judicial independence despite pressure from parties, political leaders, and private citizens is a problem? Why or why not?
I don't view it as a current problem. I think that our system works very well. We haven't always had nonpartisan judges. When Washington was first started, the judges were just like all other elected offices, and they were nominated by the parties, and we've moved to nonpartisan elections, and I think it has served us well. And I think, you know, political people see politics everywhere, and non-political people tend to see the world without the political lens. And I think our judges have done a good job in Thurston County of being nonpartisan, not just on the ballot, but in life.
Christine, you have 1 minute.
Of course, it's incredibly important that judges be fair and impartial, and it's really the cornerstone of the job of a Superior Court judge or any judicial officer. I agree that our bench here in Thurston County has been meticulous in remaining fair and impartial and making the tough choices and decisions that are not always popular. It's not necessarily easy to do, to be fair and impartial, but you have to set aside your own personal views and make decisions based upon the information and evidence presented to court. And I believe that our system in Thurston County works that way.
Thank you. And Christine, you'll get the next question first. What would you say are the two most important criteria a voter needs to know about a candidate in order to make the right choice for Superior Court judge?
I think the two most important criteria are experience, and that is because, of course, you want to elect someone who has experience, if possible, in a broad range of areas of law, because the Superior Court hears so many different types of cases. The other criteria that I think is essential is that a person will be fair and impartial and work hard. This is sometimes hard information, I think, for the voters to get, especially for a judicial race, and it's through forums like this that the candidates are able to speak to people and talk about their experience, their qualifications, and the ability to act fair and impartial in all matters.
Thank you. Jim?
I think in a normal judicial race, what Ms. Schaller just said was exactly right, that it ends up being about experience, and it ends up being about making sure that you don't have a candidate that is coming to the job with an agenda. Because as a lawyer, I know what I want to have more than anything else is a judge who's open to the argument, so that if I have the winning argument, I can win. And if I don't have the winning argument, I won't win. That's what lawyers want, and I think that's what the people of Thurston County would want. And so in a normal race, that's what you'd look for.
Okay. And our next question would be for you, Jim. How will your background affect the balance of experience and perspectives of the Superior Court?
Well, you know, we have lost a lot of experience on our bench. The position that we are running for was held by Paula Casey since the 1980s. So now, I have been a practicing attorney in Thurston County for the past 18 years, so that I certainly would bring that experience to this. My opponent is somebody who's been a commissioner, and so she brings that experience. I think the people of Thurston County are blessed with having two candidates with a wealth of experience. And so from that aspect, I don't think they have a bad choice.
Christine?
Thank you. As to balance and perspective and background, I feel very fortunate because I have a variety of experience as an attorney in private practice, and so I would be able to bring to the bench a wide variety. And as I indicated in my opening remarks, I have experience in over 85% of the areas of law that the Superior Court hears, based upon not only my experience as a practicing lawyer, but also based upon my 7.5 years of current judicial experience as a court commissioner. We have had a large amount of retirements of judges in the last several years, and at the conclusion of this election cycle, half of our Superior Court judges will have 2 years or less experience on the bench. And so I think that the voters should be very careful in choosing someone who has good experience and background to fill the current vacancy.
Thank you. Next question, Christine. Do you have any proposals for making court processes more efficient? As you know, civil cases often face long waits.
Well, I believe honestly in Thurston County that we have a relatively efficient court. But the one thing that we do not have is a case management system. And this is a huge gap in our ability to process all cases that come before the court. The court is looking currently at implementing a case management system, although that process honestly takes years. I believe that implementing the case management system, as well as, for example, at Family and Juvenile Court, currently we have a system where we ensure that our cases are completed in a timely manner. We have a system where we pull cases every 4 months to ensure that cases aren't lagging in being completed, and force those cases in some ways to come to a resolution within about 12 to 16 months. I think that although civil cases can wait a long time, very few civil cases actually end up going to trial, and many of those resolve. So although there's a backlog, I don't believe that it is significant at this time in our courts.
And Jim?
My background comes from being in superior courts around the state and practicing in front of an administrative agency that operates under the superior court rules. And so the first thing I would do when it came to Thurston County Superior Court would be to look around and learn about how it's doing it now. Thurston County does well. I've been in counties that are, it's more obvious that they have problems that they need to address than Thurston County. The administrative agency I practice in front of is a wonder of efficiency, where cases go from appeal to decision in less than a year. But the first thing I would do is learn about how the court works on the inside.
Great. And next question, Jim. To what extent do you believe that a judge should or should not defer to actions of the legislature?
Well, the judge's duty is to follow the law. We live in a democracy, and the democracy is the people speaking through the legislature and through the initiatives that they pass. I think that a judge needs to come to the law with humility, that the case needs to be resolved not based on what the judge thinks would be a good idea, but on what the judge understands that the people have decided through their legislators. It is the people who decided the Constitution. It is the people who decided the statutes. It's the people who passed the initiatives. And I think I'm almost made uncomfortable by the idea of deference, because it's more than that. It is understanding the judge's role is not to declare the judge's law, but the people's law.
Thank you. Christine?
The judiciary is a separate branch of government than the legislature, and the court does not defer, I don't think, to anyone. The court's job is to decide a case based upon the law and the facts before it. And sometimes a court is asked to look at whether or not a law is constitutional. So the court must follow the law in examining whether or not a law is constitutional. So I don't think the court ever defers to the legislature or to the executive, except that we are bound to follow laws and to apply whatever evidence or facts that we receive to the law in making a ruling.
Thank you. And Christine, you'll have the last question with a follow-up from Jim. There are concerns that increased campaign expenditures in judicial races will eventually compromise the integrity of our judges. Do you agree that this is or could be a problem in our state?
I don't think it's a problem at the Superior Court level. We candidates often put in a lot of our own money and do raise some money, but there's not a lot of outside money or special interest money. However, I would say in the last decade at the Supreme Court level, the amount of money raised to run those significant campaigns has changed significantly, and it could be a problem in the future. However, I think that there are guidelines and parameters and rules that candidates are required to follow, put in place to hopefully stop any problems. Our current judiciary, whether it is our Supreme Court, our Court of Appeals, or our Thurston County Superior Court, I think all have judges or justices in place that are there to do the job at hand and are not looking out for any special interests.
Jim?
So far, what I've learned about judicial campaigns is that here in Thurston County, they're what I like to call self-financed, that it really is a lot of people who are family members and close friends who end up footing the bill. But campaign finance is a challenge for judicial candidates because you're talking about how to connect with 155,000 registered voters. And frankly, I have to applaud the League of Women Voters and TCTV for doing this, because ultimately what we want is we want 155,000 voters to vote and to make an informed choice. And it doesn't take a lot of money to do that. What it takes is people willing to read and to watch programs like this.
Thank you. And you'll have closing statements each. And Christine, you may begin with your closing statement.
Thank you. I hope that the confidence that has been expressed in me by so many of our community will encourage you to entrust me with this very, very important work. I have been endorsed by law enforcement and am supported by them, Sheriff John Snaza and former Sheriff Dan Kimball and former Sheriff Gary Edwards. I have the support of lawyers. I've been endorsed by the Thurston County Deputy Prosecuting Attorneys Association, and I received 88% of the votes from local lawyers in a recent Bar Association survey for Position 2. I have the support of the judiciary. I have been endorsed by retired Washington State Supreme Court Chief Justice Gary Alexander, Thurston County Superior Court Judge Tom McPhee, and retired Thurston County Superior Court Judges Bershauer, Strophe, Pomeroy, Hicks, Doran, and Judge Casey, whose position it is we seek to fill. I hope that their confidence will encourage you to entrust me with this important work. My name is Christine Schaller, and I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
Jim.
I'd like to thank you for putting on this forum, and I'd like to thank you for watching it. This is not the most interesting thing to do, to sit down for 20 or 30 minutes and watch judicial candidates. We don't get to talk about interesting things. We talk about experience, and we talk about legal things. So thank you for your attention. This is an important race. This is a race that has significance far beyond Thurston County and far beyond this position, because it is a race that is going to decide the issue of whether we can require our judges to live in the county they serve. That is important in Thurston County, because if judges are not required to live in the county they serve, then the governor can appoint anybody the governor wants to sit in this, and our court will lose its local character. Whatever you think of these candidates, you should also keep that in mind. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for joining us for Superior Court Judge Position Number 2 with the League of Women Voters. I know voting for judges can be confusing and difficult. As someone who's not an attorney, I find it difficult as well. So these forums are very helpful for me, and I certainly hope they were helpful for you. And again, the League of Women Voters of Thurston County hopes you'll join us, both men and women. Thank you again for joining us.